The Community Development Block Grant is one of the major grants that we hope to receive. We have been kind of promised about 66.9 million, but that money doesn't become committed until the Federal Register. So the Federal Register kicks off the whole process. Once the Federal Register comes out, which it hasn't yet, we've been expecting it. First, the feds told us July, then they said October. We don't expect the October, possibly November, but anyway, whatever it happens. And it's a good thing maybe that it has been delayed, because once it happens, we have to meet very strict deadlines, and because we were anticipating in July, we actually have started the process already.
Good afternoon. The hearing will come to order. HUD's Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program, or CDBG-DR, is a vital tool for our states and municipalities as they recover from major disasters. Grantees use flexible CDBG-DR funding to rehabilitate and reconstruct damaged housing, buy out vulnerable or damaged properties, and repair public facilities such as community centers. The activities must primarily benefit low and moderate income people in the most affected and distressed areas. Since 1993, Congress has provided more than $86 billion in supplemental appropriations for the CDBG-DR program. As the severity and frequency of storms has increased, so is the need for this kind of funding. In 2017 alone, Congress appropriated more than $35 billion for grantees recovering from major hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. To put this into perspective, HUD's entire budget in the last fiscal year was approximately $54 billion. Unfortunately, Congress has never formally authorized the CDBG-DR program. That means that for each appropriation, the Department must issue a notice in the Federal Register that outlines grantees' funding allocations, program requirements, and waivers. Without this notice, states cannot submit action plans to the Department or sign a grant agreement or begin to draw funding, necessary steps that will take at least several months after the notice is issued. Today, there are dozens of Federal Register notices governing 123 active grants for 57 grantees across the country. However, issuing Federal Register notices has taken longer in recent years. After the 2005 Gulf Coast hurricanes, HUD needed 45 days after the initial appropriation to issue the notice. After Sandy in 2012, it took 35 days. But after the 2017 hurricanes, it took 145 days. And when Congress appropriated CDBG-DR mitigation funding in February of last year, HUD didn't issue a notice until August of this year, a delay of 18 months. That's 547 days. And even then, the notice came only after Congress initiated a statutory deadline. But that's only part of the story. Rather than comply with the clear statutory language in bipartisan legislation that was signed into law by the President, HUD is withholding the required Federal Register notice for Puerto Rico. The other affected states have had to wait 18 months, which was bad enough. But Puerto Rico is still waiting. Mr. Jeremy Kirkland, he's the counsel to the HUD Inspector General.
Since 2002, we have issued 124 audits, 7 evaluations, and have opened more than 600 investigations related to disaster oversight. Throughout our work, we have noticed common themes, including the need for codification, the need for model programs that provide clear expectations for strong internal controls, and the need for accountability for expenditures of funds at late stages in the process. We believe the CDBG-DR's mission is an important one. It's so important that we believe it should be codified into its own program within HUD. In fact, multiple grantees, involved in the recovery efforts in these most recent disasters have informed us they believe codification can help. We have all heard concerns about how long it takes CDBG-DR funds to get out to those in need. The process is lengthy and confusing for everyone involved. Currently, there are 76 active Federal Register notices dating all the way back to 9/11 that grantees must navigate to determine how to design and implement their local programs. Often, primary grantees are new or inexperienced, further complicating an already cumbersome process. We strongly recommend a clear and permanent framework for this program. We believe it will reduce the time between appropriation and disbursement and will provide consistency surrounding the requirements of the CDBG-DR program.